My name is Norma Sanchez Gutierrez. In today's math lesson, we will be dividing decimals with a remainder using place value understanding and relate to a written method. That means we will be dividing a decimal number using our place value understanding, and then we will be using our division standard algorithm to show our steps in writing. We will need our place value chart template inside our personal whiteboard, dry erase marker, and our math journal. Let's get started by reading the expression. 6 3/10 divided by 3. In this expression, 6 3/10 represents a dividend, which is the number that is being divided. That 3 represents the divisor, which is the number of equal groups we will be dividing 6 3/10 into. And our answer will be the quotient. The first thing we need to do is represent our number on our place value chart. So we're gonna be using place value discs to do that. And we have 6 ones. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 3 tens. 1, 2, 3. Then we're gonna be representing our equal groups by drawing lines on our place value chart. 1, 2, 3. That'll represent the 3 equal groups, 1, 2, 3. First, we need to divide 6, 1 equally into the 3 groups. So we're gonna distribute each unit at a time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. After distributing the 6 units into the 3 groups equally, I noticed that I was able to place 2 units in each group, and I had no units left over. So we're gonna move on to the tens, and we have 3 tens. Let's divide those 3 tens equally into the 3 groups. We're gonna place 1 unit at a time into the groups. 1, 2, and 3. And after distributing those 3 tens into the groups equally, I was able to place 1 unit into each group, and we had no units left over. So we are done dividing. And our quotient will be the equal number of units that go into each group. In this case, it would be 2 and 1 10. Let's go ahead and represent that using our division standard algorithm to show our steps. 6 3/10, which is our dividend, divided by 3. Okay, the first step on my place value chart was to divide the 6 ones into the 3 equal groups. And when I distributed those 6 ones into the 3 groups, I was able to place 2 units into each group. So I'm gonna go ahead and note that down. And after distributing 2 units into each group, I was able to distribute 6 units in total. 2, 4, 6. So I'm gonna subtract that. And after distributing the units into the 3 groups, I was left with no units. So I'm gonna note it down. Then, because I had no units left over, I moved on to the tens. And how many tens did I have? 3. Then my next step was to divide those 3 tens equally into the 3 groups. And I was able to place 1 unit into each group. So I'm gonna note it down. Don't forget your decimal point. And when I finished distributing the 3 tens into the 3 groups, I was able to distribute 3 tens in total. 1, 2, 3. So I'm gonna subtract that. And after distributing all the units, I was left with no units. Therefore, I am done with my division, and my quotient is 2 and 1 10. The same quotient I got using my place value chart. Let's go on and try a different expression. 5 and 20 hundredths divided by 4. Let me go ahead and write my division standard algorithm so we can follow along as we work on the place value chart. 5 and 28. So we can show our steps in writing using the standard algorithm. Let's place our number in the place value chart. 5 ones, 5, 2 tens, and 8 hundreds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Then we're gonna represent our equal groups, drawing lines on the place value chart. That'll be 4 equal groups, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, remember our first step is to divide those ones equally into the 4 groups. So let's go ahead and distribute those ones one at a time. 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, I noticed that I have one more, but if I place it into a group, they're not gonna be equal groups. I don't have enough to place a unit equally into each group because it wouldn't make it equal. So what should I do with this one? I'm gonna unbundle it into the tens place. Okay, let's go ahead and record that on our standard algorithm. So I divided 5 ones into 4 groups, and I was able to place 1 unit into each group. And after placing 1 unit into each group, I distributed 1, 2, 3, 4 units in total. So I'm gonna go ahead and subtract that. And after distributing all the 4 units, I had 1 unit left over. Now, let's go ahead and unbundle that 1 into the tens. Remember, when you unbundle a bigger unit into a smaller unit, that unit turns into 10. Okay, so we're gonna draw 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 place value discs. Okay, unbundle the ones into the tens. Now, I previously had 2 tens, but I added 10 more. So 10 plus 2 equals 12. Now I have 12 tens. So let me go ahead and note that down. Okay, and we're gonna write our decimal point. Our next step is to divide those 12 tens equally into 4 groups. So let's go ahead and distribute those tens one at a time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. So after distributing those 12 tens equally into 4 groups, I was able to place 3 units into each group. So let me go ahead and note that down. And after placing 3 units into each group, I was able to distribute how many units? 3, 6, 9, and 12. 12 units in total. So I'm gonna go ahead and subtract that. And when I finished distributing those 12 units, I had none left over. I had no units left over, so we're gonna go ahead and record that. Okay? Because we had no units left over, we're gonna move on to the hundreds. And how many hundreds do we have? We have 800, so we're gonna note it down. Okay, our next step is to divide those 800s equally into the 4 groups. So we're gonna distribute those units one by one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. after distributing these 8 units into 4 equal groups, I noticed that I was able to place 2 units into each group equally. So let me go ahead and note that down. And after placing those 2 units into each group, I noticed that I was able to distribute how many units in total? 2, 4, 6, 8 units in total. So we're gonna go ahead and subtract that. And after distributing those 8 units into 4 equal groups and placing 2 units into each group, I had none left over. I had 0 left over. So we're gonna go ahead and note it down. Okay, and since I have no units left over, I am done with my division. So our quotient in our place value chart is the total number of units that went into each group. In this case, 1 and 32 hundredths. And as you may notice, on our division standard algorithm, we also have the same quotient, 1 and 32 hundredths. Okay? So today, we were able to divide decimal numbers using our place value understanding, then using our division standard algorithm to show our steps in writing.